Hi, I'm Miss Haley with the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, and for today's craft I'm going to show you how to make this super cute paper plate llama. For this craft you are going to need a pair of scissors, a black Sharpie, and a colored Sharpie. I'm using pink for my inner ears. I just picked one of the colors that matches my yarn, but you can really do whatever color you want, but this is for our inner ear. You need a paper plate. You can use any size paper plate. I'm using a small cocktail size paper plate, but you could use a regular size big plate too, whichever one you like. And I would get the kind that has the simpler paper plate type that have the sort of ridges rather than a smoother paper plate, or certainly nothing that's decorative. You want a plain white one. You'll also need yarn in 3 different colors. These are the ones I have here, but you can pick any colors you want. I do like mine to be brighter because he's a party llama, but that is also up to you. He's your llama. And then you'll need some tape. So to start out with, we are going to take our paper plate and we are going to cut some pieces. We are going to cut a line. We're going to cut the sides off. So we're going to cut in a line that crosses over the rounded part of the inner circle of that paper plate just a little bit. So if we're cutting it in a line, it's kind of like right here. We're just cutting the side off. We want to leave the center side not cut, and it's about, let's see, how long are you? It's about 3 inches wide. So you really just wanted to, you can measure it, but I find just coming in just a little smidge onto the circle, inner circle part of it does the trick. As long as you're kind of aiming for that area, you'll be okay. So we're going to cut off one side, and then we are going to cut off the other side. It doesn't have to be exact. They don't have to be perfectly the same. Mine are a little off from each other, and that's okay. These are going to be the ears, so don't throw those away. They're not scrap or trash or anything. These are going to be our ears. So to make our ears, we are going to, you can leave one side pointy because you're not going to see it. It's going to be taped to the back of your llama. But you are going to round off one end. So decide which is which and just take your scissors. You're going to kind of cut off that point and you're going to round it off like that. So we have a rounded edge there instead of a pointed edge. And you could, no, I was going to say you could stack them and do them at the same time, but not really. Then they'd be a little off. They'd be a little weird. So we're going to do the same thing on this other one. And we're just going to cut the tip off, kind of rounding it out as we go, so that we have 2 rounded out pieces. Next, we are going to do the cutting on our llama head. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut a scalloped edge. And this edge here, that's what I'm talking about when I mean a scalloped edge. So kind of like a wave pattern. And we're going to do it on 3 sides. So we're going to do it on the 2 long sides and then 1 of the short sides because that's going to be our top. But we're going to leave it smooth on the bottom. And the reason I do that is because that kind of looks like his fluff. A llama is very fluffy. He's a fluffy llama. And we leave this part smooth because that would be where his neck would start. So it's kind of like a little bit of his neck where he wouldn't have necessarily fluff. It's my logic anyway. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to start. I like to start with a rounded portion. And I don't take too much off. You want it to leave most of your plate. So you can see how thin of a piece I'm taking off there. It's very, very thin. Make sure as you're going around the corner that you round that off. It's very easy if you do straight here and then straight here, you'll wind up actually still having a point there and on the sort of edge, and you want it more rounded. So make sure you've rounded it off well, and I'm going to, once I get done with this side here, I'm going to take a look at that. That one's still a little pointy, so I'm going to round that one off just a smidge more. And maybe this one a smidge more. If you look at it, you can see how it almost comes into a little bit of a square, and I really don't want any square edges right there. So cut that out, set our scraps aside, and that is going to be our llama head. You can put your llama on either side. I like to do, for this one, I like to have my face on what would have been the inside of the plate, so it's kind of curving outward, and it gives that like illusion of fluff. If you look at a llama, their face is usually a little smoother, the fur on their face is, and then they have like puffy, fluffy fur surrounding their face. So I think that kind of just imitates that, but it's really up to you. So to do our next part, we are going to color in our ears, and it's really just the same shape. You're just making like a really big U. So if you draw an upside down U up here, not too high, you want some room, and then you just extend that down like that. You don't have to go all the way down because a lot of that is going to be behind your llama's head. So just decide where you want that. I'm going to come up a little higher on here. And then you just color that in. And you're going to do the same thing. And the edge doesn't really matter because, like I said, that's going to be covered up. I'm going to do the same thing on the other ear. And again, it doesn't super matter if they match. If you wind up with a llama with lopsided ears, he will still be pretty cute. He might even be cuter if he had slightly lopsided ears. I don't know. I think that's pretty cute anyway. Just going to color that in. You can come up. I like to leave a decent amount of white on the edge there. But you can come up as high as you want there. You could come right up. You could do big ones. You could do little tiny little inner ears. It's entirely up to you. So next we're going to do the face of our llama. And we want to make sure we don't come down too low. I kind of divide my plate into thirds. So about 1/3 of the plate needs to be left. And that is so that we can wrap our yarn around him. He has a little sort of decorative necklace going on, and that's really more of his neck. So you want to keep it above the curve of this plate, of the inner circle of the plate. So kind of above here in the upper 2/3. And you definitely don't want to go too high. You don't want to go past the top curve of that inner curve of the plate. That's the top of his face, really. If you come up into this section or down into this section, you've definitely gone a little too far with your face. That's supposed to be kind of his llama fluff. So to start out with, I am going to make a heart nose. I like a heart nose for this one. He doesn't have to. You could do a circle nose. You could do a triangle nose, whatever kind of nose you want. But llamas have kind of these little soft rounded noses. So we're going to do a heart. Also, a heart is just kind of sweet. So I just draw a heart shape and I color it in. You could also probably do this in, well, not probably, you definitely could. I think it would probably look good if you did this in a color too. If you wanted to, say you did your Sharpie marker out in the ears in the bright pink, maybe you want to do his face in green or orange. You could totally do that or have them match. I think that would probably look good, but that's up to you. So now you are going to draw a little line coming down from the center of his, or the point of his nose, the point of that heart. And then we're going to draw a sort of upside down sideways C. So a C looks like this shape, and we're just going to turn it on its side so it's more like that. So do a C, upside down C. You could even turn it this way and do C, and then another C. And that will make your little rounded thing. It could also be a shallow U, but I think C is useful, more useful. So then you can do your eyes. This llama has her eyes closed, but your llama's eyes could be open. I think mine are still going to be closed though. I think I like a closed eye, relaxed llama. I'm doing mine at a little bit of an angle this time, just because I want to see what that looks like. So you can see the difference. These are kind of more straight, still curved, but on a straight line, and these kind of angle upwards a little bit. And we're going to give my llama some eyelashes. I'm just going to do 2 on the corner today instead of all the way down. That's the difference. You guys can see. You can really play around with the face of your llama. There's no right way or wrong way to do your face. You can have whatever kind of face you want on your llama. And you can even do open eyes. Super cute open eyes, little tiny open eyes, whatever you want to do there. Next, we are going to attach our ears to our llama. So to do that, I like to kind of position them first and get an idea of where I want them. So kind of like that. And we're going to flip them around. I'm going to hang on to one. Now that I have a general idea of where I want it. I kind of want it at an angle like that. So we're going to flip it around. And we're going to take a piece of tape and we're going to tape it down. And we're going to smooth that tape really good. Otherwise, at the edge there, it wants to come off a little bit. And we're going to pop it back out. I don't want to ruin my curve too much there. So we're going to do the same thing with the other ear. So I'm going to kind of line it up where I want it. I think I want it more straight, so my llama's kind of cock-eared. So we're going to turn that around. I'm going to put a piece of tape there. Whoops. There we go. Hold on, let me check that. There we go. If you wind up accidentally moving it too much, just flip it back around and check. I almost always move mine too much. And we're going to just put a little piece of tape right there. I'm going to smooth it out really, really good. If you wanted to, if it feels too loose, you could always add a little bit more tape. I'm going to add a little piece up here, coming a little further. You just don't want to go off the edge of your llama, the back side of your llama plate, because you don't want to have to fold it over onto your llama. You don't want it to be visible from the front side. So just be mindful of that. So if there's any spot where it feels like it's too loose or like it might come off, you can add a little bit more tape there to secure it. But now I am most of the way to my llama. I have my llama. Now it's just decorating my llama. So for this, you are going to cut some yarn. I actually already have some of this orange yarn cut from a different project that we did a while ago. So I'm going to grab a piece of that. I don't remember what that project was, but I have some. So I'm going to grab a piece of that. I'm going to cut a small piece of the pink. You really just need enough to make it across your llama with a little bit that you can tape down to the back. So I'm leaving about 1 inch on either side of my llama, and I'm going to cut it. This piece is way too long, but I'm probably going to wrap it twice, so we'll see. And then same thing with my green. Certainly don't need a big old green thing, but that's what I have. And just, again, leaving a little bit on either side of my llama's head, and cut. You're done with your yarn. So when you are attaching this, you can do it in straight lines. You could do it sideways. I think this one has a mix of that, so it has some straighter lines and then it has some angled ones. It's entirely up to you and how you want that to look on your llama. I think I'm going to start with the orange though. Since I have more of the orange, I'm going to let it be the bottom layer. So we're going to start, and we're going to tape this orange down. Just a little piece of tape will do. You're probably going to need one big piece to put it over this. I would say taping down the yarn is maybe the hardest part to get it to stick. You can even tell on this one how it's kind of coming up. You could also use hot glue for this. That would work well too. I just don't like to do that with the yarn because it's really easy to just burn your fingers. The yarn is so thin and movable. So we are going to wrap that around twice. twice around my llama's neck. And then I'm going to tape it down to the back again with a little piece of tape. And really smoothing it around the edges of the yarn, and then I'm going to cut it. Maybe. Ooh, the scissors are getting dull. And then we're going to do the same thing with our other two colors. I think I want my pink buried a little bit more. I think I want the green to be on top, because I already do have a lot of pink on this guy with the ears. Let's see. How do I want it to go? Maybe straight across. I don't know. We'll do it that way. So I'm going to tape it down right here. Whoops. Again, smoothing that tape down just really good across the yarn. And then tape it down one more time. You could also use a rainbow yarn if you have that. And one other addition you can make to this guy is to glue some pom-poms down. So if you have little tiny mini pom-poms, you can glue those down. This one's a little small for that just because he's a smaller plate llama, but if you used a big plate, that can actually work really, really well. Just those little pom-poms you can get in the cross section. And you do need to use hot glue for those. Regular glue just really doesn't want to stick them down. It's something about the sort of fabric texture. It doesn't want to stick to regular glue. So use hot glue for that. But that can also look really cute decorating him. Or you can use glitter or sequins or whatever you want really to decorate your paper plate llama. But now we are done, and I hope you guys had fun with this. I would love to see your llamas. If you would like to send those to our Facebook page, we would love to see them. Our Facebook page is Huntsville Madison County Public Library, which I know is a mouthful, but that's our name. And we would love to see what you guys have made. And I hope you guys have fun making paper plate llamas. You can make a whole herd. I'll see you next time. Bye.